to have a maid. Everybody ought to have a working girl. Everybody ought to have a lurking girl to putter around the house.
Everybody ought to have a maid. Everybody ought to have a menial, consistently congenial, and quieter than a mouse.
Oh, wouldn't she be delicious, tidying up the dishes, neat as a pin? Oh, wouldn't she be delightful, sweeping out,
Sleeping in. Everybody ought to have a maid.
someone whom you hire when you're short of help, to offer you the sort of help you never get from a spouse.
Fluttering up the stairway,
Shuttering up the window,
Cluttering up the bedroom,
buttering up the master, puttering all around the house. A maid.
a maid.
a maid.
A maid. Everybody ought to have a maid.
Everybody ought to have a maid.
Everybody ought to have a working girl. Everybody ought to have a lurking girl to putter around the house.
Everybody ought to have a maid. Everybody ought to have a serving girl, a loyal and unswerving girl who's quieter than a mouse.
Look at her at the dustbin, especially when she's just been traipsing about. Oh, wouldn't she be delightful living in?
Giving out.
Everybody ought to have a maid. Someone who, when fetching you your slipper, will be winsome as a whippoorwill and graceful as a grouse. Skittering down the hallway,
Glittering through the parlor,
Tittering in the pantry,
littering up the bedroom, puttering all around the house. Wriggling in the anteroom,
giggling in the living room,
jiggling in the dining room,
wiggling in the other rooms, puttering all around the house. Boy, you girls are tall. The house,
Yeah, but we're worth the climb.
the house. Hard help is so good to find. The house.